Did you have any sort of musical background before you started writing? Like any sort of like chorus
Absolutely.
band, like you know how to read music or anything?
Nope, absolutely not. I had to teach myself everything. Everything that I know today, I taught myself from start to finish. Like I taught myself how to record. I taught myself how to properly um, speak into a microphone, how
Mhm.
to work all the software. That's the hardest part is figuring out all the software because in making beats, I use one software, which is Logic Pro, and then in recording my vocals, I use another software, which is Pro Tools. So I had to learn two completely different softwares in order to uh, be able to maneuver through music. But even in still learning the software, you gotta know what you want to put in the software. So it's like I had to teach myself like chord progressions and like understanding music theory, and then how to like properly breathe when you're rapping, and like how to speak when you speak with conviction in the microphone.
Mhm.
Like I had to teach myself everything, start to finish. I wouldn't do it any other way though.
Yeah.
Makes it worth
Music
it.
music theory is something that's like super interesting to me. I was in band like middle school all the way through high school. So I have the
Hmm.
background and like I knew how to read music and like different sorts of music,
Yeah.
and all that. And it's always interesting to me to listen to music and be able to like know what time it's in,
Hmm.
or like just know when, like you just get sort of this instinctual feeling like, oh, the beat's probably going to drop here, or like
Oh yeah,
or
definitely.
this or that. And I know for like dubstep and stuff where it's super obvious, it's like, oh, obviously the beat's going to drop here. But for like other stuff or like different rhythms that are in the background and that sort of thing, did you, when you were studying music theory, did you find anything particularly interesting, or like how did you go about studying it without sort of like being self-taught? Because I know it's like there's a lot of stuff involved in that, and so you can kind of get lost in
Oh yeah,
all sorts of
definitely.
different stuff.
That's the thing. It's like it's knowing what you're looking to learn. Like so me personally, like when I'm doing my research, I know what I'm looking to learn, which is
Mm-hmm.
like in making beats, you just need to know like keys, chord progressions, what type of scales you can use, which ones like what kind of song you're making. If you're trying to make a happy song, then you want to use major chords. If you try to make like a sad song, use some minor chords. Like
100%.
and yeah, and then just understanding like, okay, I have this chord progression. What type of top line melody would work? What kind of sound selection? Sound selection is another big thing, but what type of sound selection is going to work? It's more so like knowing what you're looking for when you're researching it, as opposed to like just going in head first. Because it's like music theory is super. I mean, it's not the same, but it's similar in concept to math. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're trying to learn algebra and you're studying geometry, you're not on the right track. You know what I'm saying? Like music theory has so many different things that you can learn that like you have to know what you want to learn in order to, or what you need to learn in order to actually do the proper research and to grow. So for me, I just knew like what type of things I wanted to learn. So I did the research on those. Like there's still so much. Like I can't read sheet music. I don't need to read sheet music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a pianist or something. So like I just learned like basics, and like I have an understanding of a lot of things in it and how it works. But still, there's so many things like that I don't know that I'm still trying
Mm-hmm.
to learn. Like I still here, like being in LA, I've been using a lot of my time to study more, and I've been learning different things like inversions and like different types of um, other than like there's major chords, there's minor chords, there's natural minors, harmonic minors, there's Dorian, there's like
Yeah.
so many different types of scales. It's like it's ridiculous. So it's like I've just been
Oh,
diving headfirst
it's
into
insane.
understanding more.
The
Yeah, it
amount
is.
of the
It's like
amount of scales that exist, especially imagine like being middle school age and like sitting in class and like being, oh, like learn this scale. You're like, no, I don't want to learn. It's like there's so many.
yeah,
but they're
It's a
also
lot.
they're all so useful, and you don't realize that like that is the basis of all music is
Yeah, it is.
scales and chords.
Like,
So it's
mhm.
so important to know those and like to have a good understanding of those, even just for like electronic beats and different things. They still follow those principles. So it's
Absolutely.
it's good on you that you took the energy to learn all that stuff, because a lot of people I think just be like, oh, how hard can it be? Just like say I want this sound to be here and this sound to be here, and like I make a
Yeah,
dubstep, and it's
no,
like no, it's not that
it's
simple.
not. Yeah,
Like
there's
you
definitely
cannot
levels
be,
to it.
yeah, you can't be successful just kind of winging it in that way. You have to sort of
Hmm.
like you were saying, if you want a happy sound, use major, sad, or sort of a darker sound, use a minor chord. Different sort of
Hmm.
sounds for your music. Um, that's cool though. Is there a particular sort of chord or a sort of key that you like to stay in, that you do
C
most of your
minor.
work in? C minor.
Yeah.
When you Is that sort of your comfort zone then? And do you venture out really from that at all, or not so much?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do all the time, but I typically stay with minor chords because I like to make that type of music where it's like I like to tell stories and like actually rap,
Mm-hmm.
and doing so like um that type of like dark feeling or like that type of lo-fi feeling. It works
Mm-hmm.
way better with like minor chords. So I typically stay in minor, but usually I start with C minor, and then like my sweet spot for the BPM, which is like beats per minute. So it's like the tempo. My
Yeah.
tempo is typically 85, which is like a place where I can just sit and talk comfortably. So
Mm-hmm.
like I was telling you about that pocket earlier,
Yeah.
it's like a pocket where I can literally just sit and talk and hit right in spot. So it's literally like let's say I'm like, you love me the more you say it, the less I start to believe it. Me and you in deep for the better part of 4 seasons. Shots of tequila, I ain't drinking, but I ain't leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like that like easily easy going, like just I'm just talking, and it just flows like that 85 ppm. You put me in a C minor chord, I'm snapping.
Yeah. That's good that you found like having that knowledge of your comfort spot in your pocket, like down to the specifics of like the theory of, okay, it's at this tempo in this scale or chord. Um, like that's super important, because when you go to make a new song, you have that starting block already, and you're not just starting from
Yeah.
scratch every time. Um, even like even if like you had a particular sort of beat that you liked and you didn't
Hmm.
know that that's why you liked it, to know why, and to know, because then you can deviate from that, and you know what you're deviating from, rather than just being like, oh, I'll try this new thing or I'll try that new thing, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I
That's
did.
really cool that you figured that out, for sure.
Yeah. I had to teach myself, like, because at first, like, I would be able to say, oh, I like this more than I like this, but I didn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Like now I'm like, I'm breaking down the science of it and saying like, I know why, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and making the beats, you have to know what's gonna work for you. Or like, sometimes I make beats and I try to send them off and get them to other artists too. Like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I might just be feeling like to make like a trap song. I don't really make trap music, but sometimes I might be in the mood to just make something that's like, oh, this joint hits. Like it would go crazy in the club. Even if I'm not gonna use it, it's still
Mm-hmm.
fun. So
Yeah.
I'll do stuff like that too, just to get that out of my system.